What up is Marcus with Dynasty Football Dads, where we do daily Dynasty videos. So this weekend I might be gone. So I am planning on going to a country concert here this weekend. So I may be gone. The content might not be out as much this weekend, but we're actually going to be doing something completely different. Of course, you're probably looking at my face going, "You're not Mason." So I am not Mason, but I've been watching a lot of his channel. Watching a lot of his channel. We're going to walk you through some of the biggest must-have Dynasty trade targets. Do I agree? Do I disagree with the 5 that he has presented? So I've already watched this video, but I'm going to basically react to some of his comments and stuff. I'm going to put his video right through here onto this corner so you can see what he says as well, and you'll probably hear some of that. Again, one of the biggest things I think in Dynasty, first of all, if you're new to the channel, we're giving away a free Jerry Jeudy jersey. All we have to do is hit 1,000 subscribers, which is I hope we get there soon in the next couple days. So we're going to be doing that giveaway, and then we'll be doing another giveaway here soon. If you want to be in a league, we still have a couple spots open on Patreon. So really, I'm not going to be sitting here bashing Mason. I think that what he does is, everyone has their own fantasy opinion, but I do think it is good to know some different counteracting. I don't have a host. My host is usually my son, who's 5 months old, doesn't really talk, and argues against everything I say. So with Mason here, we're going to cut in at 4 minutes. He's going to be talking about Chris Godwin. Basically, the first couple minutes of him is just saying that he messed up on Chris Godwin's take. So,
But in 2020, I think this is one of the worst seasons that you're actually going to find from Godwin, because he comes out and he deals with injuries throughout the entire season. I mean, we know that Godwin's in and out of the lineup, yet despite that, he still was a high-end wide receiver 2 in fantasy. He actually averages 70 receiving yards a game, and he finishes as the wide receiver 15. Now, the main thing that I want to look at with Chris Godwin, because we know that what you need to bet on in fantasy is you bet on target volume time and time again, especially if you can find a wide receiver talent like a Chris Godwin. And Chris Godwin was actually getting more targets than Mike Evans on this offense last year. Now, Mike Evans outproduced him in fantasy, mainly because Mike Evans had an incredible touchdown rate, but we know...
I 100% agree with that comment. Like, I am more of a Chris Godwin Dynasty fan, even redraft fan, than I am Mike Evans. Mike Evans, all about touchdowns. Chris Godwin's all about targets. I am taking targets over touchdowns. I understand that there's outliers. Mike Evans, it seems like Devontae Adams is... But Devontae Adams is targets and touchdowns.
Over a Mike Evans.
Yeah, wide receiver 17 is way too low for Chris Godwin. I mean, this guy has an upside of top 5 wide receiver.
Especially in Dynasty, because we go back and you look at the age for Godwin. He's only 25 years old compared to Mike Evans, who was drafted in 2014.
25 years old. So you're talking about wide receivers that you want to break out are kind of into this like 25 to 28 years old kind of range. A little bit older than running backs. And then Mike Evans is towards the end of his career. I think you're getting to the point where he's already broken the record for most consecutive seasons with 1,000 yards. But I think really at this point, Mike Evans is going to be turning into a low-end wide receiver 2. And you're going to see Chris Godwin be the alpha there. He broke his finger. I think that was a big issue. Let me know if you like this style or not of this type of video. First one I'm doing kind of like
Chris
this.
Godwin's playing under the franchise tag. Chris Godwin, I would be surprised if he gets a long-term deal done. I don't even know if that's a possibility at this point. So based on Godwin also having the potential to go to a new team next offseason, where he doesn't have to compete for targets with a Mike Evans, he doesn't have to compete for targets with an Antonio Brown. He doesn't have to see the bad side of a Tom Brady career, because I know people don't want to admit it, and trust me, I'm about to live in Tampa, so I should be one of the biggest Tom Brady fans in the world. But on the other hand, I mean, Brady is 44 years old. This is someone that I would be surprised if he puts up an elite season.
Brady's 44 years old. That's incredible. But yeah, I think when it comes to it, Tom Brady, being 44 years old, I think he can still sling the ball for 4,500 yards. I mean, you have 3 really good wide receivers, not a really good tight end. OJ Howard Gronk is... I think we just utilized like he did in the championship game here and there. Maybe some
Dynasty Superflex startup.
Gio Bernard would be a good addition.
So now let's go over to our next wide receiver, someone that we have talked about a lot, and this is honestly not a buy low wide receiver, because his price has increased since we've been talking about him over the past month.
Of course, we have an ad. I'm going to cancel the ad.
That we caused it to increase, but I'm just saying that I think...
So this one is, of course, he's going to be talking about Laviska Shenault.
So if you go through and you look at some of our recent mock drafts on the Dynasty channel, you're going to find that Laviska Shenault, well, yes, I mean, he's actually going fairly high. He's going, I mean, around the Jerry Jeudy range. I've had Laviska Shenault for about a month now.
So I've already seen this video. I might react to, if you want me to react to a different fantasy
video, that was a very bold take. People laughed at me for saying that. People thought it was ridiculous. And some
wanted to throw in something different.
This is why I think we should go out there and if you could trade Jerry Jeudy,
that is
if
ridiculous.
You could trade Cortland Sutton,
that is where I completely
Shenault,
disagree with Mason. Jerry Jeudy all the way. And there's some different counterpoints that I'm going to talk about with
and time again. Because you pull up the Laviska Shenault profile right now. This is a wide receiver that was drafted at the very top of the second round in 2020. And I'll be the first person to admit,
very top of the second round, which is a good draft capital. That's where you want to be.
Then Laviska Shenault. I mean, if you're putting Jerry Jeudy and Laviska Shenault in the exact same
situation,
this
is the classic opportunity versus talent.
And I am certain of that.
And I
think they're a lot closer
opportunity versus talent arguments. Opportunity can change.
I mean, there's a reason that Shenault went at the very top,
especially in Dynasty,
round in this year's.
And I'm just going to say, what happens if Jaguars next year draft a top wide receiver? Because Laviska Shenault does not profile as an alpha. He does not even profile as not even a beta. He profiles more of a jackal.
His athleticism.
I call jackals basically Percy Harvins, Cordell Patterson.
You can't be looking at 40 time. You can't be looking at anything that he did at the pro day or his combine because he actually suffered a groin injury. So all those numbers.
Yeah, he had a groin injury, and that's another thing. Laviska Shenault is always hurt. Always hurt. He's a big running back type of. He reminds me of Cordell Patterson. He's going to be in the backfield. Maybe not as much with Travis Etienne there. He's going to be on the outside a little bit. He's going to be kind of everywhere, but he's going to perform for fantasy. I'm buying all in on DJ Chark. I don't think Mason likes DJ Chark, but I think DJ Chark, and I think Marvin Jones is going to have a surprisingly decent year. And I think Etienne's going to be a ton on the backfield. James Robinson's going to be used a ton. And I just don't think Laviska Shenault is going to have the year that people are thinking. And if you look at some of his statistics, mid-40s for fantasy finish. Mid-40s for
Trevor Lawrence
targets and he's like 80s in separation and routes run and air targets, and he's just like 80s and everything. And then he's like 25. He's got 5 touchdowns, so he had a little bit more touchdowns than everyone else.
Laviska Shenault and DJ Chark can see their slices of the pie slightly increase as well. So I love the idea of going out there.
So he's talking about they lost a bunch of targets, but they gained Marvin Jones. Marvin Jones is not going to just sit there and be nothing. I think Marvin Jones is going to be a huge addition. And how many Jaguars wide receivers do you think are going to be relevant? Minshew, though we knock him down, I mean, Minshew had a
maybe we could have called them
an okay year, at least yards-wise, and still they couldn't find any fantasy producer out there. So I think we need to temper expectations, having maybe the third wide receiver on a Jaguar offense.
Yes, I mean, if you look at his redraft ADP, he has
Mecole Hardman
multiple
stats,
rounds
like one of these stats where
I said no.
I'm not buying Laviska
enough
at
to think
all.
it's because of what we said. Nobody pays attention to this channel.
And this is Michael Gallup.
Drafters are doing their own things, but since then, I mean, a trend has happened. And you've seen
Michael Gallup is one of the hardest
what is happening is people are coming out with more accurate projections for this upcoming 2021 season.
Because he's the third wide receiver.
They're going, oh, crap.
What Mason will talk about is his contract following the guaranteed money.
And here with Gallup,
it's hard to predict. It's hard to predict what NFL teams will do. I didn't think Derrick Henry was going to be re-signed. I didn't think Joe Mixon was going to be potentially re-signed.
So, of course, 2019.
Sometimes you expect people to be cut, like Amari Cooper. You expect them to save the money. But there's also teams that just somehow do it.
Wide receiver than Michael Gallup. I want to say that right away. And
figure it out.
Keep in mind, I love Amari Cooper. We have an Amari Cooper jersey behind us for a damn good reason. I mean, he was one of my favorite.
I love Amari Cooper too. I think Amari Cooper is one of the most underrated wide receiver twos.
Michael Gallup,
he's not a wide receiver 1. He's an awesome wide receiver 2. He's going to have some interesting days, just like a wide receiver. He's not a consistent wide receiver, but he had really good target share there. And I think CeeDee Lamb's going to take a step forward. I think Michael Gallup's going to have a decent year.
That kind of gives you an idea of what kind of talent Michael Gallup is.
What is a decent year?
I understand, guys. In the
50 yards a game, 55 yards a game,
alongside with Amari
half a
Cooper,
touchdown a game,
CeeDee Lamb, and Michael
800
Gallup,
yards and 8 touchdowns.
Each wide receiver in CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper were leaps and bounds better than Michael Gallup in fantasy. And I understand that 5-game sample does exist, but at the end of the day, it's a 5-game sample. And what
he talks about the 5-game sample size. That's a big sample size. I mean, CeeDee Lamb is an alpha.
Remains true.
Amari Cooper was an alpha-ish. now you could say is a solid beta on that team. And so where's Gallup?
They were all within like 2 points.
Is Gallup going to have really good tight end numbers, basically, because they don't have a tight end? So he's going to be the third option. You also have Zeke, you have Pollard, they both can catch.
Closer to those top two guys with production.
I mean, Dak could throw for 6,000 yards. That's an option. I mean, that's not one of the real possibilities, unfortunately. So
he's going to be a free agent. Maybe he's the guy going over to Miami. Maybe he's going over to Green Bay.
So here's Mason talking about he could be a free agent
playing on the New York Jets if they don't like what they get.
I mean, how many players you know that go to a different team, especially after their rookie contract, not performing ideally, and then going and just having a huge jump in production?
So
it doesn't happen very
much. The fact that he is going to be more productive than people think this upcoming.
We look at even Corey Davis. Like, Corey Davis could go to the Jets. And then the situation just changes so quickly.
Or maybe you bet
where's Gallup going to go that's going to make his value skyrocket?
On the same team, because what you could reasonably
you might be thinking, well, if the Dallas Cowboys think that they're going to be able to sign Michael Gallup at a relative discount, 8 finisher one
obviously have Amari Cooper on like that $100 million contract. But we talk about this all the time in these videos. NFL
if you compare Michael Gallup to the people that he was drafted around at that time, like Christian Kirk and stuff, Michael Gallup's a really good wide receiver, but it's just like, where's he going to go?
I mean, Amari Cooper doesn't.
Or is he going to stay? The best thing is that Amari Cooper gets cut.
So
next
what would
year
happen in a world where Michael Gallup is much
that's
going to
be your biggest thing?
Amari Cooper,
so out of the three so far, Chris Godwin, Love, Laviska Shenault, hate. Gallup.
We can assume that the Dallas Cowboys are not going to have to re-sign Michael Gallup for a $100 million contract. So maybe, given the fact that they're paying Dak Prescott,
when you're at that kind of point where his ADP is at,
save some money by.
I'd rather almost just say, you know what, screw it. We're just going to go for somebody that has a little bit bigger upside.
Paths for Michael Gallup to actually go out there and increase his dynasty value. So I really like the discount that you are currently getting.
See, he talks about increasing his dynasty value. I don't see that very much when people go to different teams. It's going to be with
Rondale Moore. Okay, so with Rondale Moore here, this is a wide receiver that we liked going into the NFL draft, but we said from the beginning that a 5'7" wide receiver, he needed to land in the right situation. He needed to land in a situation with a coach that we believed was going to be able to use his skill set.
Yeah, Rondale Moore, 5'7". And so I guess my biggest question about Rondale Moore is, so you said must-have dynasty wide receiver targets.
Now, Cliff Kingsbury with the horizontal spread, rate, offense, whatever you want to call it. Obviously, it's not just an air raid offense.
Value, especially in rookie drafts.
A lot more closer to.
I know that you're listening to Mason here, but it's like.
But regardless, he is going to run.
You're not going ahead of Chase. Not going ahead of Waddle. Not going ahead of
They actually only ran 28% of their sets.
Not going ahead of
two wide receivers in the field. They actually ran
Smith, Chase, Waddle, Bateman.
60% of their sets
with now you're with the Moores.
3 to 5 wide receivers.
There's a pretty big gap between them. I like Moore.
You can expect that Rondale Moore is going to be getting a ton of playing action.
And he's at 99th percentile.
Moore, I know a lot of people want to focus in on the athleticism. I know that he is a 99th percentile athlete.
I mean, yeah, people do focus on the athleticism. He's a 99th percentile athlete, which is awesome. But he's also 5'7".
At the same time, what I want to be focusing in on is not necessarily
everyone talks about his freshman year.
I want to be looking at what he did as
a I really like his freshman year at Purdue as well.
With our Dynasty Rookie Draft Guide over there on Patreon, we proved
he played 7 games last year.
Those wide receivers,
he's been very injury prone. I think if Rondale Moore was 5'10",
highly in the NFL, they have
and not injury prone
hit rate than the guy who breaks out in
would
year
be
3. I mean, if you can
up there with Jalen Waddle
wide receiver,
and up there maybe with Devontae Smith and Jamar Chase. He would be up there. But like, where are you going to put him higher? Like,
you have a great hit.
If you're telling me would I rather have Rondale Moore or Michael Gallup, I'd rather have Rondale Moore because
wide receivers.
He could be the clear B in that the Arizona offense that is awesome.
18 years old at Purdue. Now, I will say the one thing that you need to be careful about.
I know Mason talks about
and having. I don't want to say. And probably with being injury prone, but
it is likely when somebody performs at 18 years old that they are
hide behind the fact that Rondale Moore
they're going to be a better hit rate.
Man, I bet that he's
but I don't know how many players that we've seen that have been 18 years old have been awesome and then have been injured for 2 years and like literally have not played.
But at the same time, I think that people are looking at this upcoming season. They're kind of discounting Rondale Moore based on the fact
and 3 years was a long time. I mean, it changes.
Obviously,
I mean, look at Brian Edwards, one of the earliest breakouts.
But
we're still kind of hoping up on him.
$8 million to play in Arizona this upcoming year.
And that's exactly
like Christian Kirk.
Yeah, AJ Green, $8 million to play in Arizona upcoming year. Christian Kirk is now going into the last year of his rookie year. So yeah, a lot of things are changing, but it's like
difficult for Rondale Moore to.
He's not going to be the alpha.
AJ Green and snaps.
The chances of Elijah Moore being the alpha are so much better. Bateman, so much better. I want the alphas. And when you get into like this beginning second round, I'm going to pause Mason here. Sorry, Mason, pausing you and ending you. So when we're talking about the second round, sometimes late, like 11th, 12th pick, we're looking at players that are betas, really good betas and really good offenses. We're talking about, well, Terrace Marshall has a chance to be an alpha, but likely CJ Moore. So you have Terrace Marshall. You have Ronald Moore. You have probably Amari Rodgers that is probably going to be the beta because I don't think Randall Cobb will be there super long. Or you have Amon-Ra St. Brown that might be the beta. I mean, he might be the alpha for a year because there's no one else, but he might be the beta. Again, you're looking for these B wide receivers. And so I don't see a huge jump in Rondale Moore. Like, I can't see that. I understand that, yeah, he looks good in fantasy and stuff. So, again, this was a 15-minute video. I don't know if you liked it or not. Please let me know if you liked it. Props to, I mean, you know what? Everyone's going to have their own opinions. And this is, again, not a bashing video on Mason. He does really good work, and he dives deep into a lot of these players, and I really do enjoy his content. And if you would like me to be a part or try to, like, hey, co-host, not even co-host, if you'd like me to be on somebody else's channel, comment my name on the channel. Say, hey, tell Mason or whoever it is, or Bunk Bed Breakdowns, or whoever you want. Just say, hey, Marcus wants to be out there. I've had a couple people that have reached out, a couple channels, but just nothing has materialized yet. Because I do want to start talking to other channels or other groups, because I think it's fun. I think it's fun to bounce ideas or bounce conflicting arguments, because I can only argue with myself. So we can't have that all the time. All right. So again, this is Marcus with Dynasty Football Dads. Peace out. See you tomorrow. Let me know what you think.
Now turn up.